Howdy, y'all! The following is a clip from Objectively Subjective's channel, where we do a show called On Our Last Nerve. Catch it every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and be sure to subscribe to our co-host, #Heathen and Faithless Southerner. I hope you enjoy! Don't you laugh at me.
And Snarky, you are ready.
I'm ready?
Yep.
I'm not ready. Okay. Well, if you insist. So, Richard Dawkins got a bit upset this past week, as panties in the twist, and tweeted several replies hostile to Douglas Murray have made precisely his point for him. Judge a speech itself, and whether you agree with it, not by other things the speaker may have said on other occasions, and not by whether you dislike others with whom he may have been associated. In other words, Dawkins thinks it's unfair to judge people by their past words. Gee, wonder why he would hold such a position. Now, before we get into all of that, hostile to Douglas Murray. Okay, that's kind of subjective, isn't it? Said hostility could range anywhere between slight critique to a good bruising. So, where does the context of such hostility arise? Well, replace the name Douglas Murray with Jack Van Impe, the doomsday Christian TV personality, and you would have the same apocalyptical irrationality presented by the likes of Dougie Boy. Not to be confused with Charles Murray, which at first I did, who is another twit these new atheist four horsemen have platformed, laughed alongside, and actively defended publicly. As I mentioned in a previous presentation, Harris has hosted both of these. Oh boy, so here's another tweet, which Dawkins shares Murray's Spectator opinion blog, stating, Douglas Murray sees through David Cameron's ingratiating Islamophilia. Islamophilia? For fuck's sake, what an awful take. It's like just so crass. It's not very British at all, in my opinion. Just saying. So I'm disappointed in that regard. And by the way, do not do a Google of Rebecca Watson, Richard Dawkins, or Islamophobia, Richard Dawkins. Don't do it. Now, anyway, since you're there, Google Murray. Douglas Murray. Now, he's a real piece of work, like a seething pile of Islamophobia, which, for those unfamiliar with my stance on Islamophobia, I recommend going back to the previous segment Maddie invited me on to discuss on their platform. So, why do I think this brand of Murray is problematic? Well, he's an author of blatant extremist ideas regarding European excellence, a critique of moral relativism, which he evidently doesn't seem to grasp, applying it all to what's morally wrong with the, oh, and by the way, immigrants are going to wipe out all the white people. I mean the West. No, Europe. Shit. Okay. So he's another member of those they deem the intellectual dark web of trolls and suits with a posh vocabulary. Another dirty daddy. And y'all know how I, the nasty woman, feel about them. So, yeah.
Okay, so just to start matters off with our discussion here, I just want to look at the camera and say, Richard Dawkins, I have several of your books on my shelves back here. I have read The God Delusion. I have read...
I'm sorry.
I have read The Selfish Gene. I've read The Blind Watchmaker. Many of your books are very good.
Not The God Delusion.
The God Delusion has its issues that I have come to figure out. But
Sucks.
I would just like to say, Mr. Dawkins, Dr. Dawkins, Dawkins Daddy, stay in your goddamn lane. Because when you step outside of the walls of religion, even when you're in religion, you do kind of a shitty job at times. But when you stay outside of the walls of biology, you're kind of a shit person. And that's kind of all I got to say there.
Yeah. The takes that he has had on Muslims and the West are they're disgusting. And they're kind of racist. I mean, what do you mean by the West and Europe? And you mean white people? Come on. It's so blatant.
I'm trying to figure out what
you mention this to people and they, oh no, he's just, like worried about, people believing crazy stuff and extremism. Well, he's spreading extremism. So it can't be that he's worried about extremism.
Yeah, so here's the thing that I have an issue with. So Islamophobia, as we've discussed before, you said check out the video, but the video with you, I've transferred it to my new channel, and it's actually not coming out for like another week. So you'll be able to see that in about a week. But
join us for a week and find out what Islamophobia is.
Just to be clear, the definition of Islamophobia in socio-political terms is this imagined idea that Islam is one large block that is hell-bent on taking over the world, which it's not. That's Islamophobia. So Islamophilia, would that be the imagined belief that Islam wants to stay within one block area or something?
I don't even want to speculate on what that shit means.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just disgusting, and it's not the first time he's made disgusting comments. It really isn't. He tends to do this about once every 3 months or so.
Yeah, I do want to point out in the chat, someone has mentioned for biologists, check out PZ Myers. PZ Myers is awesome, and also Jackson Wheat. Check out Jackson Wheat. Jackson Wheat has some amazing biology videos.
There are a lot of people that convey biology better than Dawkins.
Oh yeah,
and I would say that he's probably my least favorite out of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And anybody that knows my position on Christopher Hitchens probably will find that surprising.
I think you meant the four horsemen of atheism.
Yeah, well, the apocalypse, new atheism, same thing.
When I think of plague and death and Dawkins.
Yeah, it could have been a Freudian up there.
Honestly, as far as biologists go, evolutionary biologists and whatnot, I think Robert Sapolsky would blow Dawkins out of the water in terms of knowledge, in terms of being able to get a message across, in terms of just utter brilliance. So
well, there's a lot of people. I mean, Wilson and plenty of others that Dawkins was relevant in his day, and his day is 20 years gone. And so, I mean, he started out as a brilliant biologist and an evolutionary biologist and contributed a lot to the field. And then he swapped more towards the let's bash religion. And I mean, the God delusion is just garbage.
So what's really funny is the God delusion was the book that made me go, I'm an athist.
And there's a lot of that. Yeah. And I'm continuously surprised that these books had the impact that they did.
Yeah.
Like the Faith by Harris and the God Delusion and what was the Hitchens one? Religion Poisons Everything.
God is not great.
God is not great. I mean, these are just, they're not great arguments. They're like basic level Christian apologetics. It's like becoming a Christian because you saw freaking what's the guy's name? Michael Acona video. Like it doesn't, I don't know.
It's definitely not the deeper of the stuff. Now, what's really funny is the reason that the God delusions got me to say I'm an atheist is because of the Dawkins scale, which now the Dawkins scale is absolute shit. It's really bad. It's has no philosophical understanding whatsoever of the propositions, of the stances. It's really not that great. So
maybe he should have stayed in his lane on that too?
Possibly. So So you have
he's friends with a philosopher. Why the fuck didn't he run this past?
I don't know. Well, because
could you proofread this for me? Because I'm making a lot of claims that are really dumb.
You know what's funny is Dennett is like nowhere. Dennett is the horseman of new atheism that wrote a couple books and then was like, oh shit, they're all going right wing. I'm gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that he just decided to stay in his lane.
Yeah.
And his lane happened to converge with these other people, and he's just continued on writing his philosophy books.
Well, and Dennett has done a lot of good. Dennett was crucial in starting the Clergy Project with Linda Lascola. Now they did get some financial backing from Richard Dawkins when they did that, but Dennett has been crucial in promoting the Clergy Project. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, Dennett's very droll. Like, that's my problem with, I've read Dennett and it's good, but it's very, very droll.
Yeah. No, he's not the
It's philosophy.
He takes so long to say anything. Like, you go through four chapters to get to one thought that he's been, and he always hints at it. Like, he hints at it throughout the chapter. Like, we're going to be talking about this. We're just about to talk. And you get to the end of the chapter, you're like, he hasn't talked about this yet. He fucking trolled me. It's like every single chapter is like getting rickrolled.
He's basically this Stephen King of neurophilosophical writers. Yeah.
Yes. And finally you get to his point and you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's good. I don't know why you made me wait. But that was good.
Because you needed to learn how to wait.
Special thank you to all my lovely patrons. I so appreciate your support. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notifications.